weapons, which transportation methods do they use. This is all data that they need to collect and plan and foresee whatever they can invest before. And for people who can read that numbers and turn it into policy, can save few more lives.
And of course, the ongoing crisis following the invasion of Ukraine by Russia was also the theme of one session.
Okay, I'm Larissa Zasekina. I'm professor in clinical psychology and I am director of the Ukrainian Psychotrauma Center. We worked with veterans who were active duty soldiers in 2014 and later. But then the war started and we started working with active duty soldiers and their families. So the results of our research show that now civilians and military population have very high indices of moral injury, and as for PTSD, civilian population has higher rates of post-traumatic stress disorder than military population.
Even coming up with these numbers, understanding the scale of the problem, is that helping already in terms of dealing with the issue of the post-traumatic stress disorder?
Of course, because a lot of psychologists in my region, in Volyn Oblast, in the West, suggest psychosocial support for active duty soldiers, for civilian population who need help. But it's very interesting situation in Ukraine that actually civilian population, just ordinary people, are more stressed than military population.
I'm curious, is it the scale of the war, the way that the fighting, the weapons have been brought into the cities?
I think it's because people didn't expect, because they were close and they had a lot of tight relations with Russians in professional way. There are a lot of relatives in Russia, and that's why people didn't expect this very detrimental attack of Russia. And this unexpectedness probably caused this high rate of post-traumatic stress disorder and moral injury.
If it's a question of the unexpectedness, are new cases coming through, or it was the big trauma at the beginning?
Exactly. In the first 3 months, yes, we could observe this crisis and very high rates of moral injury and post-traumatic stress disorder. But now we could see that people demonstrate very high resilience and they find some strategies how to cope.
And I want to come back to this idea that this is a conference about science and research in crises. What's the research side for you at this point?
We do not develop some original technique. Everything exists. There are a lot of techniques suggested by Israeli colleagues, by UK colleagues, but what is necessary? We do our own research in order to know how to translate existing techniques and existing protocols in Ukrainian context.
Coming to the end of this conference, there have been a whole range of crises that have been discussed, like the pandemic, like climate crises. Do you see the crisis in Ukraine being part of that kind of spectrum? Does it make sense to talk of these all in the one context?
It's a good question, because when full invasion of Ukraine started, for example, me as clinical psychology, I forgot about COVID, about pandemic, but all these crises are very important, which were discussed today, because probably these high rates of emotional distress in Ukrainians, in civilian population, connected with the fact that war started just after pandemic, and one continuous traumatic stress just was transformed in another continuous traumatic stress in the war. So we had no break compared to other people, because just social isolation was over and another social isolation began.
We are reaching the witching hour.
So many different windows on the role of research in crises, a theme we keep returning to here on Science in Action, and we'll do again. My thanks to our hosts here at the Royal Society and to producer Ella Huber. I'm Roland Pease. We'll be bringing you more science here on the BBC World Service same time next week. Till then, thanks for listening.
So thank you all for your contributions, and thank our speakers very much.
Thank you.
This is the BBC World Service.
Sit back, relax.
Tourism lost its way.
There are astronomical predictions.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
To solve NHS England's severe staffing crisis. The UK avoids recession as revised GDP figures show slight growth for the first quarter of the year. Nationwide warns that continued mortgage rate hikes are threatening a significant drag on the housing market. Plus, carbon capture, the Icelandic company turning CO2 into stone. Hello there, very good morning to you. You're watching Ian King Live with me, Emma Crosby. We have an hour of business and economic news right from the heart of the city here in London. Well, we're going to start with our look at the economy because we know that the UK government has, or the ONS I should say, has given out its numbers for GDP. The first quarter of GDP for 2023 coming through at around 0.3%. That was a number that was expected. And we know that according to the Office of National Statistics, the biggest driver of growth came from the information and communication industry. That grew by 1.3%, with increases in computer programming, consultancy work, and also telecommunications. So why don't we get an overview now of what all those numbers mean? We're joined, I should say now, by Yael Selfin. She is the chief economist at KPMG. Yael, thank you so much for your time this morning. We're looking at marginal growth then, aren't we, of 0.1% in the first 3 months of this year. So where are the drivers and kind of what's lagging growth in the UK?
Morning, Emma. Yeah, it is very interesting because essentially what we've seen is that the consumer-facing services have actually contracted. So the story of weak consumer spending is the hit on consumers, on household, from that pressure on income, on real incomes is there, and it's the services that are not consumer faces that grew and drove some of this growth. The other story here that is quite interesting is business investment. Business investment has grown quite a lot, which is great news. The trouble is that it is quite likely that a lot of it is driven by the end of the super deduction, that special allowance that was in place until the end of the first quarter. And what it means is that probably quite a lot of the business investment was brought forward, and what we are likely to see is a weaker Q2 as a result.
And it's if you compare what's happening in the United States, we had economic data from America showing the US economy grew by 2% in the first quarter. I mean, the UK's growth rate is just anemic, to say the least, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's not fair to compare it exactly to the US at the moment for a number of reasons. If you look at Europe, for example, if Germany is in a recession, Europe has been hit much harder from the latest shock, that rise in energy prices due to the invasion of Ukraine. So it is understandable that we would have had weaker growth here. We also had less of a fiscal boost here than in the US overall. But generally, the UK is not performing very well compared to its peers.
Okay, let's have a look at the numbers in a bit more detail. What are households up to right now? We know that households took money out of their savings account at record levels. What does that suggest to you about the health of the UK consumer?
That's a really good point, Emma. There's two things here. One is that we've seen the saving ratio fall, which means that people have less money to put aside for saving because they have a squeeze on their income. The disposable income is lower, and therefore a bigger proportion of the disposable income is taken on consumption, even if they try and rein in a little bit that consumption. The other thing is that when you look at data on the actual saving available for households, you'll see that if you look at what we call excess savings, the savings that households managed to save during the pandemic because they couldn't travel and they couldn't go out and eat out, etc., that is falling as well. So it is a consistent story of people having less money to save and also withdrawing some of the existing saving in order to spend it on other things, as well as in order to put it in higher earning assets. So withdrawing it from the current account, if you like, from bank deposits.
What could be a silver lining for consumers is the news that energy prices are finally set to fall. I mean, they're still very high, aren't they, historically? But when will we see the benefits of that?
Well, we're expecting energy prices for households to fall again this summer. That should ease a little bit of the pressure, but prices will still be about 80% higher than what they were prior to the invasion of Ukraine, prior to COVID still. So it's not back to normal, if you like, in terms of energy prices, but a bit of a relief.
Okay, yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. Yael Selfin there, the Chief Economist at KPMG. Well, back to our top story now on Sky News, because in the next few minutes, the government is expected to publish its plans to solve the severe staffing crisis at NHS England. We're expecting that report to drop any minute now. Live to Westminster, our health correspondent Archie Joshi is standing by. You've been waiting for this report all morning, Archie. What can we expect?
I've been waiting for this report all morning, but the country's been waiting for this report for over a year, so the long-awaited report will have to wait a little longer. It will be published, I'm sure, before the Prime Minister and the head of the NHS, Amanda Pritchard, deliver a press conference at Downing Street around midday. What we'll be told then is a little more about the detail. So far, what we know are tens of thousands of extra training places for doctors and nurses expected to swell the workforce in the next 15 years, with guaranteed funding over the next 5 years, at least £2 billion, with a review carried out every 2 years. I have to say, Emma, this has been almost universally accepted as good news by all the health think tanks and NHS leaders, and even the opposition shadow health secretary, Wes Streeting, said these were great ideas, but they'd been stolen straight from Labour's playbook. So he's acknowledged that this is exactly what needs to happen. We've had the health secretary describing today as a monumental day for the NHS, and when you look at it, over 15 years, this is exactly what the NHS needs. But there is the problem in that it doesn't fix the current crisis in the NHS. There's no mention of pay. We haven't heard enough about staff retention, but we are told that there will be some detail about the staff retention in the report when it's published later this morning. But those are the concerns that are being expressed, that it might come a little too late to solve the problems that exist in the NHS right now, especially with the ongoing industrial action being taken by junior doctors and consultants next month. We're going to see tens of thousands more appointments and routine surgeries being cancelled. So this is great news. It is a landmark document. We've never had one like this before. It will give NHS trust leaders reassurance and direction over the next 5, 10, 15 years. But certainly some of the worries about the current state of the NHS, including NHS estates and the crisis in social care, they haven't been addressed. This is a workforce plan, but yes, it has been universally welcomed, and we're still waiting to see what that detail is.
Okay, Ashish, we are straight back to you as soon as that report drops. For now, though, thank you very much. That's the business agenda for you now. Annual house prices fell in the month of June, according to the Nationwide Building Society, with a big increase in borrowing costs expected to have a very significant impact on the housing market in the coming months. Well, prices fell by 3.5% annually in June, according to the nationwide index. That's down from 3.4% in May. However, prices were fairly stable throughout June, rising by a modest 0.1%, followed by a 0.1% month-on-month decline. Joining me now is Robert Gardner, Nationwide's chief economist, who's obviously compiled this report. Good to have you on the programme this morning, Robert. I mean, the housing market is flat month on month, but comparing it to this time last year, we've had a fall of some 40, a big fall, I should say, biggest fall in 14 years. That's very significant.
Yeah, it's not surprising given what's happened to housing affordability, because the increases that we've seen in mortgage rates really do represent a step change in terms of what affordability looks like for prospective buyers. So, for example, the first-time buyer paying sort of earning the average wage and buying a typical property, that mortgage payment is normally, or has been over the last decade, about 29% of take-home pay. It's closer to 40% at the moment with interest rates where they are and with house prices where they are at the moment. So it really has changed things, and therefore no surprise that housing demand is weaker.
Regionally, Northern Ireland, the only area not to see a fall, but East Anglia is the weakest, down by 4.7%. Why the regional anomalies?
To be honest, there's very little variation when you look across the UK. The picture, it really is broadly similar, with similar declines when you look at how far prices are down relative to their August peaks last year. Prices around the country down more or less sort of 4% in most parts of the UK. So it is a surprisingly uniform picture. As I was saying, not surprising, that picture is one of very soft activity, subdued house activity, and very soft price growth.
And is this the calm before the storm? Is it next year, when we have people coming off their fixed rates and having to remortgage, and also this year, that we're going to see real house price falls or real softness in the market?
So it's a really good question. In terms of what happens, a lot will depend clearly on where interest rates go. But if they stay where they are at the moment, what you see is around about 400,000 households each quarter, each 3 months, will have to refinance. And at the moment, that is representing a significant increase in costs for the typical borrower. So, for example, people that are rolling off a 2-year deal, taking out a new two-year deal, they're facing an increase in interest rates of around 4 percentage points, in fact, a little bit more than that. For a typical borrower, that's an extra, almost £400 a month, which is clearly a big increase. So those coming off 5-year deals, it's a slightly smaller increase, but still we're talking about an extra £320 or so a month, if they come off and take out a similar deal. Now, the sort of reassuring aspect is that people were stress tested at rates above the ones that they're rolling on to, so hopefully they'll be able to afford that, and obviously people's wages have increased quite a lot over that period as well, but nevertheless, clearly it's going to be a squeeze for lots of people in the coming quarters ahead.
So what is your prediction for the housing price or housing market next year?
So we expect activity to remain pretty subdued because we talk about those affordability pressures are still in place. In terms of house prices, we still think that probably we'll see prices fall a little further. So we're talking about a peak to trough decline of about 6.5%. And we're already down about 4% or so. The reason for that is we don't think we're likely to see larger price declines, providing the broader economy performs as we and most other people expect. So providing that inflation does come down, providing that unemployment remains fairly low, earnings fairly solid, which is what most people expect, then we think that should be a cushion and prevent a more significant decline in prices. And the key to that really is we shouldn't see waves of forced selling as long as interest rates don't move significantly higher from here, and as long as people remain in their jobs and employment remains fairly solid. But nevertheless, activity levels are likely to remain weak in the housing market because of those affordability pressures.
And mortgages still very much the focus. According to the newspaper this morning, 6 of the country's biggest banks have raised their mortgage rates again in a deliberate attempt not to offer the cheapest deals. I mean, what do you think of that?
So the increase in mortgage rates really reflects the move in longer-term interest rates that underpin them. That's what's driving the increase in mortgage rates. And the thing that's driving that is what people think will happen to the Bank of England base rate in the years ahead. And over the last month or two, what we've seen is investors significantly increase their expectations of how high bank rate will go and how long it will stay there. So if we just go back a couple of months, they was looking at bank rate peaking, or they were expecting bank rate to peak peak at a little above 5% and then to fall towards 3.5% in the years ahead. Now they're pricing in the peak bank rate above 6% and still sort of declining, but more gradually in the years ahead. And it's that change in expectation which is driving that change in longer term interest rates, which in turn is pushing up mortgage rates. So that's the key thing that's driving mortgage rates higher.
We'll leave it there. Robert Gardner, thank you so much. Nationwide's chief economist joining us.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at some of the other main business stories making headlines here on IKL today. Heathrow Airport has appointed a new chief executive. Thomas Waldby, the current head of Copenhagen Airport, is going to join. His appointment will follow the departure of John Holland Kay when he steps down later this year after nearly 10 years in the post. More British citizens will be able to live and work in Australia with changes to the country's working holiday visa that's coming into place. People aged 18 to 35 can now apply to work down under for up to 3 years. Previously, the maximum age was 30. It's part of the UK-Australia Free Trade Agreement, which starts today. And household gas and electricity bills are finally set to fall from tomorrow after the Office of Gas and Electricity Markets dropped its price cap. It's welcome relief after months of spiking energy costs. The reduction will be around 17%, but bills will still be almost double what they were before the crisis began. Well, as we head towards the end of the trading week, let's have a quick look at how the markets are faring right now. So having a look firstly at Asia, going into the weekend with a mixed picture, weaker than expected consumer economic data from China, suggesting an interest rate cut could be on the way there, impacting trading in Shanghai. Also, you can say that in Tokyo, the Nikkei finishing lower by 0.4%. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng closing out the weekend pretty flat. On to Europe for you now. Some gains, as you can expect, on the board. Wall Street in the United States having a stronger finish last night on those Q1 GDP numbers that we were talking about with the elders a few minutes ago, talking about a growth of 2%. Unlike the situation in China, there are concerns that it could force the Fed to hike interest rates. That has helped stocks continue their rally. It is a picture of higher rates, of higher stocks across the board here in Europe. The DAX in Germany trading higher by 0.8%. So too is the CAC 40, the MIB 30 and the IBEX in Spain. On to the London market for you now. The FTSE 100 looking a little like this, also trading higher by nearly 0.6%. We've got mortgage lenders and house builders in focus today. So too are the miners stocks and some commodity-based stocks as well. Quick look at the currency markets for you. A strong day as well on the dollar last night, and that's playing through today as well. The pound is up actually against the dollar right now, pretty flat though, as you can see. It's up just 0.06%. The pound trading higher against the euro right now, and the euro is slightly lower against the dollar. A quick look at the price of oil as well, obviously an indicator of economic sentiment, so always check in with it here on IKL every day. It's trading higher by 1.43%. Let's try and make some sense of all those numbers for you now. Joining me is Sophie Lund-Yates. She is a lead equity analyst at Hargreaves Lansdown. Good to have you on the programme, Sophie, this morning. What's taken your eye? Nike in focus for you. Tell us why.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, so this really was the big one from last night. Obviously, a sports apparel giant, Nike has seen its shares down as much as over 4% so far in after hours and pre-market trading. And really what we're seeing is essentially its full year results and its Q4s last night really disappointed. So there was a 5% increase in revenue, but earnings per share have dropped pretty sharply. And there's a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is that actually as a wider sector, apparel is very tough right now when you look at the backdrop for consumers, particularly in the US. And at the same time, as part of that, Nike's had to really spend quite heavily in order to generate sales. So that's things like higher marketing spend and a little bit more promotional activity as well. So overall, essentially pretty disappointing, and a wider barometer really of how tough the consumer landscape is.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about barometers, a $4 billion injection into UK business from Salesforce. That's a pretty positive barometer, isn't it?
It is. I like to talk about the positive spots where there are some in the current climate. So as you point out, the cloud-based business, kind of specialising in marketing as well as other IT and services, Salesforce, US-based Salesforce, has said it's going to spend $4 billion over the next 5 years on its UK business. Now, I will be honest, the details on exactly where that's going to be funneled is pretty thin on the ground. But they've said that it's very much going to be about driving innovation and growing the customer base over here. And the reason this is important to talk about in relation to the UK market is because we know that the policymakers, the powers that be here in the UK are really trying to push this idea that the UK is a good space for high growth companies, for tech spaces. So really this kind of injection, although it won't move the dial in a huge way on its own, it does show that perhaps the direction of travel isn't quite so tough as perhaps it might be being pegged as.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll take that, won't we? What about B&M? Why have they caught your eye?
So B&M this week, a pretty interesting situation, really. I mean, they had their full years. Because of the cost of living squeeze, so you've seen people trading down towards B&M stores, particularly in general merchandise as well as grocery. You might not immediately associate B&M with food, but of course they do have quite a significant offering there, and we're really seeing people trade down, and that's benefited them significantly. I mean, like-for-like sales up in the region of 9%. However, the shares are down. Last time I looked at them, including yesterday's trading, this week they're down over 5%, and some of that is because of the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty about the trajectory of where consumer spending is going to go. And also, I think there was probably an element of this idea that B&M might have benefited even more than they have done. Really a tale of two halves. You've got these really quite outstanding results, but the share price is really not reflecting that.
And in closing, tell us your thoughts on the FTSE 100. And we've had some pretty dire economic news, haven't we? And yet the markets continue to rally. What's going on?
There are a few things for this. You're absolutely right in terms of, I think, the higher economic news is a fair way to phrase it. However, we do now see that we've technically, here in the UK, we've swerved recession for now. I would point out that I think it's definitely fair to say that there are certainly some flashing indicators, some warning lights that things are certainly going to get tougher. But for now, we've swerved that recession, which is good news for spending power and things like that. And at the same time, across the pond, we generally we do tend to kind of mirror the trajectory of the US market, and the US market is positive at the moment because they've had some positive economic data. GDP in the US up 2%, far better than the 1.3% expected. That news has only just come out. So we're kind of following that pattern as well. So largely, it is very tough out there. We've eked out a tiny bit of economic growth here in the UK, but it wasn't quite as bad as perhaps it could have been. And also, our friends across the pond are not doing too badly either, so that's certainly boosting sentiment as well.
Indeed. Sophie, thank you so much for joining us. Sophie Lund-Yates there from Hargreaves Lander. Thank you. Still to come this morning here on Ian King Live, why reproductive and sexual health wellbeing services have become an important element of employee benefit packages. Do stay tuned.
For a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated, look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Hi there, welcome back. You're watching In King Live with me, Emma Crosby. Now, a new workplace standard was created recently to help businesses support employees experiencing menopause or menstruation. The campaign to support female workers highlighted the importance of reproductive healthcare in staff well-being. London-based Fativa produces reproductive healthcare support and financing for employees right across the UK, Europe, Asia and the United States, and it's just closed a £5 million round of seed financing. Well, joining me now to discuss it in a lot more detail is Eileen Burbridge, as you can see, Director at Fativa. Great to have you on the programme, Eileen. Thanks. I know you're a busy woman, to say the least. Why is it only now that reproductive healthcare access is being covered by companies who are offering good employee benefits?
No, that's such a great question, and I think there's a confluence of different events and factors. First of all, we're so lucky here in the UK and across Europe as well that we have been able to rely on public health care for so long. And so I think there has been a false sense of comfort that employers didn't need to worry about their employees' well-being because they were already being looked after. Unfortunately, I think that support is waning given cost constraints, funding constraints and the like. At the same time, post-COVID, we've got companies recognizing a greater duty of care to employee well-being. And then finally, you're seeing the push and the influence from America, where it's always been privately funded healthcare. And so companies raising the bar in terms of what they offer for employees. Now companies here thinking, oh, we've got to meet that because we're competing with those same companies or multinationals for our talent.
Particularly if you want to keep talent.
Exactly, for retention.
Keep good people. So how far could it go? Because menopause is notoriously difficult to cover, isn't it, for insurance? And so too is fertility treatment. I mean, could all of that now be covered, do you think?
Well, we hope it's all covered. And actually what we offer at Fativa is well-being support and navigational advice for all of these topics. Anything related to a reproductive health system. So not just for people who want to or have reproduced, but anything related to your reproductive health system. So it could be family forming and fertility, could be adoption, surrogacy, menopause, as you've mentioned, menstrual health, as you mentioned, but endometriosis, PCOS, sexual health, fibroids, just normal contraception, and of course men's sexual health too, because men are notoriously not talking about any of these topics, even though they are 40% of heterosexual couples' fertility challenges, and 1 in 8 of them in the UK will be diagnosed with prostate cancer at some point.
And what's also great is all these subjects which were deemed taboo subjects are now being talked about really freely. I mean, we wouldn't be talking about this about 5 years ago, would we, to say the least?
No, absolutely.
I mean, you're American, and the American market is way ahead of us here in the UK, so you see the commercial opportunities. I mean, what are they? Are they big?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely limitless. And you're right, I grew up and was raised in America, so I'm used to private funded healthcare. I've been here now in the UK for 20 years, and so I really value the NHS. But for me, it's absolutely unarguable that we are going to see the same trends. And actually, even today, there's 8 times as much spent on assisted reproductive technology, so IVF and the like, across all of Europe than there is in the United States alone. So the fact that we are behind means the opportunity for companies like ours is huge.
The issue is it's an incredibly expensive thing to do, isn't it? Going through fertility treatment is phenomenally expensive, and up until now, people have had couples who had to pay for it themselves, or single women, or whoever wants to kind of go through that treatment. So how are you going to fund that? I mean, what are your premiums like? How will you make money from this?
So we don't work in the insurance model, but we are supporting the workplaces and the companies to provide reimbursements. So, for example, we have processed about £1.5 million of reimbursements just in the last 12 months alone. And so it's the companies that are finally recognizing they need to invest in this area. And it's really important, I should just say, because I know who you've got on as your next guest as well, for Pride Week, this isn't just about women, or it's not just about men's sexual health. A company can have the greatest parental leave policies in place, but if they're not supporting LGBT individuals to become parents, those policies aren't accessible to them. So it's about equitable healthcare for everybody.
And it's a personal mission for you as well.
Yes.
Mother of how many now?
So I co-parent 5 children. I gave birth to 4. I have a young stepdaughter as well. But yes, I also went through 3 rounds of IVF. I've had pregnancy loss. I've had elective terminations. I'm now perimenopausal on HRT. So I know what it's like to try and go through. Yeah, exactly. So much fun. I know what it's like, though, to carry on working and want to stay working and productive, but have these things also happening in the background. And so, again, companies supporting employees' well-being is just increasingly important.
Doing that and being a tech superstar, I don't know how you manage.
Oh, well, I don't know if I'm
There's
a
definitely
superstar.
a book in there
That's
somewhere,
very kind.
Eileen, lovely to meet you, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Eileen Burbridge, Director at Fativa. Well, we're just going to break away from our business coverage to bring you some breaking news here on Sky News. We're hearing that the Metropolitan Police say that 2 people were stabbed to death last night in North London. A boy believed to be 15 and a 23-year-old man were both killed in Islington. We'll bring you more on that story when we get it here on Sky News. Still to come this morning here on Ian King Live, the Icelandic company that's turning CO2 into stone to reduce emissions. More on that coming up shortly.
Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world in adjustment. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119 for free.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
It's your mama. Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We call them London for home. For here, we call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
The coolest way to start your weekend. The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just Smile. Hey, this is Archie, and you are listening to Star Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. And those of you on other planets as well, we want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Friday edition of the Star Radio UK Morning Show. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only. From now till 1 o'clock, I'm going to be your captain and I'm going to make sure I drive you through all the terrain by making sure that you arrive at your destination in peace and not in pieces. But as we start, or we say here on Star Radio UK, your weekend starts from here. Of course, because it is the But I'm saying good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Mr. Francis Gai, and then to the one and only Frank Davids all the way in Ghana as well. I salute you. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to Bishop Adeshina, Pastor Mo, and all you wonderful people tuning in to listen to us. Those of you in Nigeria, I salute you. Aziz, good morning to you. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Shamsuddin, good morning. Those of you watching us live on other platforms as well, I salute each and every one of you. I say it all the time, without you, there will be no point coming to sit here to present what to who. But well, you are the wind within our wings, and that makes us able to come here each day. Let me say morning to my brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen. I hope you are doing very well. And to Kojo D here in the south as well. Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, good morning. Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, good morning. Dr. Morton, good morning. You are right. Mr. Nick Apia, good morning to you as well. But wherever you are listening to us, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. So let's crack on, all protocol observed. All the staff at RBS office with my Bishop Adesina, I salute each and every one of you. Okay, so if it's the first time of tuning in, let me tell you how it goes. It all goes here on this platform on the Friday edition of the morning show. Let me say morning to my money man himself, Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. Now I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast to follow suit, then the travel update as well. We move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It is known as global trotting. Then after that, we continue from there to look at some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria.
Love for you.
That is updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki.
All of you make.
We then continue from there and have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds. The lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions at 12 o'clock. Then we bring the first part of the program to a close at 12:30. Then I take you to Kent, where our money man is Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man, who will be bringing you the money hour. So wherever you are, stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yesterday and forevermore, and that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end.
Sincere apologies there. I needed to nip out to have a chat with somebody who needed a bit of help there. So wherever you are, don't tag the dial at all. Starr Radio UK. Okay, so after that encounter with Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services at 11, my apologies, at 12:30, we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program. So that's in a gist what's going to be. But wherever you are, don't tag the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okie dokie. Once again, let me say good morning to my lovely family, the Yomi family, the Kwaiki family. Let me put it that way. In North London, where Mr. Olayomi Kwaiki will be bringing you the updates from there as well. But share with us. It doesn't matter which platform you are on. Share with us. Share with us. Share with us. Okay, so now let's move on to the quote for the day. It says systems of leadership, governance, and management have their own roles. But people develop and operate them. They have their own roles, but people develop and operate them. So, how are you doing? Are you trying to be a good leader there? Have you got systems? And are you trying to make it so that it works for everybody, or you dey susupon people? All right, then let's move on. Let's move on straight to the weather front. What is happening on the weather front this morning? Okay, when it comes to the weather front this morning, yes. For London and the south of England, cloudy this afternoon with a small chance of an isolated light shower in place later. Now it's going to be breezy with moderate southwesterly winds. Tonight we'll have plenty of cloud around, and occasional showers will sweep in from the west, albeit this will be light in nature. The cloud may tend to thin and break in places towards dawn. It's going to be breezy though. Wow, temperature 19 degrees, the lower 16 degrees. Pollen level is going to be high, UV level is going to be moderate, and pollution is going to be low. Sunset 21, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 04:47 hours. Now when it comes to the Saturday weather, mixture of cloud and sunshine. Top temperature 23 degrees, the lowest 13. Sunday, mixture of cloud and sunshine again. Top temperature 22 degrees, the lowest 6 degrees. Is it 6 degrees or 16 degrees? But it says 6 degrees. Okay, let's see what happens. That is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we will bring you the travel update. Stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi, I'm Adam Williams, and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, and we're keeping updated. I promise I'm on the Starr Radio UK travel update. I come to you every weekday from 10:40 It's now 10:49, and let me take you straight to the roads and tell you what is happening on the roads this morning. Well, if you are traveling on the underground, I can tell you, apart from the Elizabeth line and Jubilee line, all the others have got good service. The Elizabeth line has got severe delays between Paddington and Abbey Wood, Shenfield, and minor delays between Paddington and Heathrow, Reading, due to an earlier 40 train at Paddington. And then when we come to the Jubilee line, minor delays while the service recovers from a late finish to engineering works at Dolls Hills. That aside, London Overground DLR, good service, London Rambling, good service there as well. Now, on the major roads in London, the North Circular A4 has got serious delays, so do your best to avoid it. However, if you are stuck in there, continue to listen to us. And then on the riverbank this morning, as you know, the Woolwich has got reduced service. That aside, all the others, good service there. Moving on straight to the London Cable Car, where I can tell you good service there as well. And then finally to the National Rail, where I can tell you, applaud say, yes, good service throughout for once. All right, then, so let me say it as I do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you. Enjoy your comment for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
iOrange is the brand new hydration drink developed with bold, thirst-quenching orange flavor to refresh and replenish. iOrange was created to fill the void where great taste meets functionality. With bold, thirst-quenching orange flavor to help you refresh, replenish, and refuel.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time down to 9 minutes to the top of the hour. Well, let me tell you what we're going to be looking at this morning. When it comes to Nigeria, yes, 2 years tomorrow, the attack on Chief Sunday Igboho's house. What has become the outcome of it? Now, service chiefs, seniors, military orders generals to retire and gives Monday a deadline. But there is this is where the military in Nigeria, okay, they are saying that politicization of the army, generals kick against military appointments. The decision of Bola Tinubu, Nigeria's new president, to change service chiefs for a few days ago earned him praise from his admirers, who argue that it's yet another indication of his capacity to be decisive in decision making, having ranked of fuel subsidy and floated the naira in the early days of its administration. However, within the army forces, the change of guard has been poorly received, and information available to some news network indicates that the tension is brewing amid impending forced retirement of as much as 100 generals. So what do you think is going to happen there? It's going to be an interesting one, because when the military feel a bit unrest, there's a bit of unrest in there, we have things do happen, right? Okay, those who think that they have to go on, but they are being forced to retire or go on pension. What do you think is going to happen there? More going to be coming your way. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. So now let's move on to some of the other stories there. Naira redesign policy couldn't stop my victory. That's what Tinubu is saying. But, well, I mean, he can say whatever he wants to say there, but I can tell you assuredly that could have, because while people were that desperate. But I leave it to the experts to comment about that. And also, a car rammed into truck, kills 3 and injured 1 in Ogun State. Now, removal of fuel subsidy, positive step. That's what the group is saying. And then at least 237 Nigerians massacred in Tinubu's first month as president. But he's saying that I'm going to make sure that I protect all Nigerians. So what measures is it going to put in place to forestall the occurrence of such evil deeds? Now, Nigerians will reap rewards of my policies, Tinubu promises. So let's see. Maybe he's saying things differently, and we don't seem to be saying anything of the sort. But let's see what is happening there. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, breaking news coming from here. Kevin Spacey is a sexual bully. A prosecutor claims in London trial where the actor faces 12 counts of sexual assault against 4 men. All right then. Okay, moving on to some other African countries. Germany to speed up Mali withdrawals as UN mission ends, with a UN peacekeeping deployment set to conclude on June 30th. As today, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius has stated that his nation wants to remove his troops from there. Starr Radio. And Guinea calls for justice in the return of the body of a young man killed by a police office. Okay. Police officer. I'll be telling you more about that as well. When we move on straight to some other stories making the rounds in Ghana as well. I told my husband to resign many times. Late Emiza Atta, the late former vice president wife, is saying. Why? We'll be telling you more about that. Alan Chairman to engage all MPP delegates in massive nationwide tour. Now, the MPP primaries. What do you think is going to happen there? What do you think is going to happen there? Just the question's win signifies victory in 2024 election, Sammy Jamfi is saying. More going to be coming away from there. It's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Punish ungrateful, I say not. I think I did talk about this one earlier on, but today we're not going to be talking about that. The MPP is alleging that the NDC won the Assay Not election through lies, incited people against MPP. Really? There's a saying in the Ghanaian policy is yeah, the sauce that you prepare for those who are working on your farm determines how good, or the food that you are giving them determines how good or how devoted your workers will be when they are doing your job. So, all right then. So, is it the government who has not performed well, and therefore people decide to punish them? Okay, in other stories as well, looting, fires, and violence as 667 people arrested in France. Protests in France continue after a 17-year-old was shot dead by police in Paris on Tuesday. Haven't they gone so far? I mean, enough. With all this looting and destruction of people's property who were not involved at all with whatever that is going on. At times when we take that action, I do ask myself, I believe that we have to protest, I believe that we have to be vociferous. However, when we take it to the extreme, then questions come in. When people are looting, people are burning people's private properties and destroying them, then I think it's something that we have to really look at once again. So what is happening there? A life has been lost, but those whose properties or whose life are at threat at the moment, are they the perpetrators of that evil deed? Somebody will say no, and if no, why? Is it that people just want to just get on and do something, and this opportunity like this, and then we have all sorts joining in to cause mayhem? Well. Okay, and Wagner still recruiting despite mutiny. Information coming through saying that more than a dozen recruits, Russian recruitment centers, and was told it was business as usual. Now, with its leader sidelined, is Wagner now finished? With Wagner leaders sent into exile, where might its thousands of fighters turn next? Those are some of the stories making the round. And China new law tightens Xi's power against the West. What power there? He says that, well, China is adding to Xi Jinping's vast powers with a new law that will assert Beijing's interest on the world stage. The law threatens to punish entities that act in ways detrimental to China's interests, but does not specify which lines should not be crossed. Well, We'll be telling you more about all that in a jiffy. Now, when it comes to the UK Forum, plan to train more doctors more quickly in England. So, more doctors more quickly. What are they talking about? Are we going to be having a case where it's supposed to be 7 years for a doctor and then we cut it to 5 years? Is that what they're talking about? Or the nurses that is supposed to be 3 years and then we cut it to maybe 2 years? And how is the whole thing going to be? How is the whole thing going to be? Maybe on the job training, something of the sort. Let us see. Let us know if you are in that industry. We want to know more from there. Now, playing. My apologies. Goldsmith resigns, attacking Prime Minister's climate apathy. It comes a day after the Tory peer was accused of undermining Commons' investigation into Boris Johnson. Is it that jumping before he's pushed? Is that what is happening? Well, it's resign. I bet you, Rishi Sunak will be like, okay, out. All right then. And government takes on COVID inquiry in High Court. The Cabinet Office and the inquiry chair are at loggerheads over Boris Johnson's WhatsApp messages. Well, they said they weren't going to produce it. The Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister said, I've given it to them. Let them have a look at it. And is it that it's going to compromise the Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister, and some of his members of Cabinet, or such statement that people have made? What do you think about all that? Now, British gas owner wants energy bills to stay high. British gas owner wants energy bills to stay high. The boss of Centrica forecasts that household bills remain high for the foreseeable future. I bet you they're not going to bring it down. They are wrecking it. Okay. The migrant fruit pickers, skilled workers, say ex-minister. A former environment secretary says the government is getting it wrong on immigration and skills. All right then. So, what do you think? Lots more going to be coming your way in a moment. I mean, it's after 11, but let's enjoy this tune whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi to join in. And it is from Shadrach Mensah. It's an Afro praise. Enjoy it. I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
This is Starr Radio UK.
To the Lord in the highest. Glory be to the Lord in the highest.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
Everybody shout hallelujah. Everybody say hallelujah. Shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. Sing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Everybody shout hallelujah. Hallelujah. Sing hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Only the best music.
Everybody go. Now this time.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Well, that is something from Shadrach Mensah. The maximum praise. And then we have a cause to give thanks and praise to the Almighty God, Allah, for what He has done for us, bringing us back to life. You know, interestingly, when you go to sleep, you don't know how you slept, and when at the moment something happened, and then you just wake up and you ask yourself, how did I do that? But let's give thanks and praise to the Almighty God, as the old Bob Marley, the late Bob Marley would say, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and everything is gonna be alright. Some way, somehow, they do get alright, don't they? But well. It is already and on fire in our North London studios, where the white lion himself is and getting ready now to bring you everything that you need to know when it comes to Nigeria this morning. And as I was saying, he will fire on all cylinders. So let me go straight to our North London studios where Mr. Olayomi Koiki is, and let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Yahweh, good morning to you, and shalom, and a very, very good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world, and those that have connected as well to the sister broadcast. I say good morning and welcome to Friday edition. And it is a day that is just less than another day that has very, very significant day in the history of what we call the Yoruba people. But for now, I say good morning to everyone and welcome to the finest African and Caribbean radio station, from Scotland to Australia to New Zealand to Nigeria to America to Canada. And I say welcome once again. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
How are you doing, sir? And how is the family?
Well, the family are doing very well. We give thanks. And as I always say, we have to be grateful, because when the family is well, and I mean well, spiritually well, physically well, yeah. Especially when you look at a couple of things happening all the time around you, whether in UK, Paris has been under a lot of crisis in the last 72 hours. We pray for peace. As we always say, peace is the most important way to resolve problems. But we've always been saying that the family is always fine, as the Japanese say, when the business is doing very well as well.
Good. We thank God for that. Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, the Friday edition of the morning show in our North London studios. Mr. Olayomi Koiki in the South studios here. It's me, Archie, and we are going to be firing like no man's business. But 2 years on, and in the background, I have you have a picture of the Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, and I look at the whole situation. And I look at the new presidency and everything that is going on, and I'm asking the question, do you think that he's going to be coming back? And the fact that the court ruled in favor of him, the DSS have virtually thrown out the case, not trying to adhere to whatever they are saying. So what has happened 2 years on? Can you give those, especially those who have not and didn't know anything about it, a bit of a narration of what took place for Chief Sunday Igboho now to be in exile or to be living in Benin as well? Over to you, Yomi.
Well, we are just literally about 12 hours, if not 14 hours, because by 2 a.m. local time later on tonight, or early hours of this morning, that was when an assassination attempt on the life of Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho took place at his residence in Soka, put together by the former president Muhammadu Buhari to kill him, so that they can get his mouth shut up from campaigning or asking for why the terrorism that is happening in the southwest, and also asking for the right to self-determination, which is allowed under the international law and under the United Nations law. At about 2 a.m. there was incident that happened, and that incident, I'm just going to give us a snip of what one of our media that was currently staying very close to Chief Sunday Igboho's residence told us that Igboho's house was under attack. His name is Moremi, as we call her, Lady K Ifeoluwa. with the 12-minute 59 seconds video, every part of the globe where the Yorubas were living knew exactly that Chief Sunday Igboho was on a serious situation that he might not escape. Until later on, after a few more days, people thought he died, but he survived it. Let's just listen to Lady K, as we call her, and then I will explain as she was speaking in Yoruba, but we'll give now a bit of more background as into what is happening. And that is a gunshot you're hearing at the background where the military, the DSS, about almost 500 security operatives attacked the home. So she's saying that, you know, we should pass that information out because Chief Sunday Igboho's house is currently under heavily attack.
Please help us to notify everybody. Please call everybody to be at alert. We are under attack now. In Chief Sunday's house, we are under attack.
And this was exactly 2 years ago in the next 12 hours at exactly 1st of July 2021. And that was exactly just coming up to less than 48 hours before what we called the mega rally that will be taking place in Lagos State. I flew back to Nigeria myself to attend that event. I mean, we've seen the Scottish coming out every now and then, you know, campaigning for the right. They are not being under any kind of attack. But the question a lot of Yorubas are still asking, and the non-Yoruba is, what could have led the go-ahead of a massive invasion? But it's not new because Buhari, that is currently in London, like we said, you know, enjoying the freedom, you know, of living here without anybody harassing him, attacking him, but he wanted to take out the same freedom from Nnamdi Kanu as well, because Nnamdi Kanu's house was attacked as well in 2017 by the same government, by the same president, Muhammadu Buhari, and the go-ahead then was take him out, kill him if possible, but Nnamdi Kanu escaped just as Igboho escaped as well. I saw Chief the same day, even though he has not any kind of injury in his body, but as at the time that Igboho house was invaded and attacked, 12 innocent people were removed, and for more than 3 months they were kept in the custody. One of them managed to speak to Nnamdi Kanu because they were very close to the same prison cell in the DSS, and what he then said was, as we continue to review back what happened, history will remember Buhari, not just for the attempt on the life of Chief Sunday Igboho, but for the attempt of the life of also Nnamdi Kanu. But likewise, he did the same thing, killing what we call the democracy in 1983, December 31st, as one of the sadists. As someone said to me some few days ago, that Buhari is a sadist that just didn't like anything that got to do with freedom, because he actually removed a democratic government in Nigeria in 1983 when the coup took place, until there was another counter coup where Babangida took over, and like they say, the rest is history. But 2 years down the line, Igboho is still okay. He's currently in Benin Republic, where he's been given what we call a kind of a free access to live there, because as many people keep asking, why can't he come back home right now? Because the question is, as at the time that Igboho could not be killed, the DSS came out at about 10 o'clock, because they had no other option, because evidence pointed to them that they didn't even just come in and kill 2 innocent Yoruba or 2 innocent Nigerians, if you want to put it that way, but they went away with so many important documents and stole so much from Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho's house, and they couldn't account for that when they were putting their presentation that they invaded the house. They also said that they saw weapons in there, but Professor Wale Soyinka, the Nobel laureate, say, you can't say you saw such thing in Igboho's house. That is cock and bull story. And like I always say, it seems that President Muhammadu Buhari is pained that he was unable to get Igboho killed just as he wanted to get Nnamdi Kanu killed. The question then is, the freedom that so many people have been asking for, the freedom from where the forefathers asked for during the 1960s, it seems that as many Yoruba leaders kept quiet when Igboho was going to be killed. And the reason for that is the ambition of one particular Yoruba man that is now the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He hasn't said anything so far when it comes to Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu. But what we saw that Baba Akintoye, the professor, has written to Bola Tinubu to put it clearly that we would not, because of your own mandate, decide not to continue with the campaign that led him to leave Benin Republic, where he decided to live with Igboho until Igboho was released, and both of them are still enjoying the immunity that they could not get from the Nigerian government. But Bola Tinubu right now was in Ijebu-Ode yesterday to pay a courtesy visit to one of the royal fathers, and we will be discussing some of what happened and transpired, because it seems that he spoke about the Naira redesign that couldn't stop him from his victory.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, with Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios, and I'm Archie here in the South studios. Let me acknowledge Ola Akinyemi. Good morning. Yes, get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate. Enjoy yourself, right? And it says no going back. And Bishola Oladele also says thumbs up to you, and we hope that you are all doing very, and towards many of you on the various platforms that we are broadcasting on, we salute each and every one of you, and we welcome you to the program Update from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios. There is this musician who will play this song. I think most of us know it, and most of the time I play a cover version of it. Lavi Safri, who says there is something inside so strong that there is something that people believe in. And when you believe for a cause, you stand for it, you fight for it. At times you will die for it because it's a cause that you believe in. At times I say it all the time that you might not see the reward of it now, but maybe posterity, your children or children's children might see it. Now, with what has happened, now, once you were playing that soundtrack there, snip by there, or sound bite there, I was asking myself the question. So, what would have happened if, when people heard it, they decided to troop into that place to go and face off with the DSS? What would have happened? Do you think there was going to be a massacre? They would just be shooting sporadically just because people were, of the view that no, we wouldn't stand for that? What do you think would have happened?
Well, and that was why, when we look at, the intelligence of Igboho, he decided not to even make any attempt, because that is the Nigerian military. There's no way he would have been able to attack the Nigerian military. He doesn't have the weapon to do so, and he doesn't even have, the mechanism to have done so, even though, weapons were displayed during the, the DSS, presentation of what was transpired between the government and the Igboho. But what they never told us is what happened actually in the premises, because all the footages of the CCTV were removed. And as we do say, it is not like the Europe where we were able to see what transpired in the killing of the 17-year-old. Remember that what led to one death, is the chaos. So what could have happened is, 2 people got killed, but yet the Yoruba people kept calm. Even in the midst of the crisis, it could have led to a full-blown crisis in Nigeria, especially in Ibadan, where this place happened. But Igboho did not fire back, neither did it fight back. And like they always say, there is always another day, because we want to go through the diplomatic route of getting what it belongs to our right. And that literally means that the government expectation that confronting somebody like him will have led to a war zone within the area. It could have led to more death. But as we say, 2 people died, and these 2 individuals, 2 years down the line, the federal government of Nigeria, that is now in control with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have not said anything, whether these 2 bodies have been buried, whether these 2 bodies have been dumped somewhere. But what we know is they were murdered. And I use the word murder because, one of them was killed instantly while he was trying to pray in the early hours of the morning, because, and he also had his sighted blinded as well. The other one was also murdered, and that is as well at the gun. We're going to get the 2 pictures. So the picture you're looking right here now, on your left-hand side on the screen, that will be, the one with the face cap is known as Adogon, a very close friend. He was passing by. He decided to stop over and spend the night before moving further the next morning. But as luck we say, luck was against him. He was murdered. The other one on the Yoruba outfit there is an uncle to Igboho, wanted to present his new car, but that new car with him now dead. these two bodies have not been returned by the federal government. The question then is, how do Bola Tinubu resolve the current situation, as so many people are now saying Bola Tinubu should forgive Igboho, and some Yoruba are saying that what has been the offense of Igboho in the first place to be asking for forgiveness from this government?
I think I also agree with those people who are saying, forgive. What did he do? He didn't do anything. All that he did was he stood up for his people, saying that this shouldn't happen. And even that, he never shot or did they beat anybody that, because the Fulani headmen were rampaging at people's farms. He didn't. There wasn't anything, because I remember monitoring everything very closely, and I remember you going down there because we were looking at the various rallies that were taking place and the outcomes of it. But well, we see what happens with Tinubu. Maybe because he hails from that side of the country, maybe he'll have a different thought about it. And the way that he's going about things seems to be different, and therefore maybe there's a chance that who knows? Tinubu will wake up at dawn, will wake up one dawn, and he says that, look, all this nonsense that is going on, let's stop it. Let us embrace our brethren, and let's release those who are in incarceration, and let's see what happens from there. But it's all coming away from Star Radio UK. Let us know what you think about all this. Star, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Yomi, let's go to this. Tinubu, today is the 30th, so it's now a month plus a day in office. Now, the question is, he changed the various service chiefs. Now that the service chiefs have been been in office, some are trying to remove or cause some of the generals now to go on retirement or pension, and it seems that it's not going down very, very well. And we know that when the military, there is unrest in the military, it's not something that is good. It troubles government, sitting government, seriously. What is all this that is going on with the appointment of new service chiefs and the forced retirement, or they being ordered to retire? I think I don't know whether by the end of this month, which is virtually today, I'm not sure what is going on. Yomi.
Well, the question is, whether those that are meant to retire are refusing to do so, which might not be. I mean, the commander-in-chief have given the go-ahead. He has brought in the new service chiefs, from the chief of staff to the NSA, to the Navy. We talked about the Navy yesterday, but the headline is coming to say service chiefs seniors, the military order generals to retire. And they have given this coming Monday as the deadline as we have it. The defense headquarters has given top officers who are seniors to the newly appointed service chiefs till Monday to voluntarily retire. So what is happening is that, there are some that are still there, maybe thinking that they might be there. And there's no way. If you have a new service chief coming in place, you then have to have the senior one to retire, because you cannot have order from the new one. And the next thing you can do is to retire. The order, which was contained in a memo some 4 days ago, and that was signed by the Major General Y. Yaya on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, was directed to generals, brigadier, air vice marshal, rear admiral in the Nigerian Army, Air Force, and the Nigerian Navy, who are senior to the new service chiefs. There is no way we can have two drivers in a vehicle. That means that Monday is the deadline. They would have no other option than to retire. The development was confirmed that the scores of the top military brass will be retired following the appointment of the new service chiefs by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Sorry, you can come back again to the studio.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, because the question is, are those people, those generals, field marshals and various people, are they of retirement age or default position? The fact that somebody...
It will make any difference, because since, the procedure is where the new service chiefs comes in, whoever is the senior prior to that must step down, and that means that you just have to go. There is no other way around there. I mean, you can't be demoted, and the only thing is they are forced into what they call early retirement.
Okay, let's see what happens come Monday. Over the weekend, maybe they go see the president. Charlie, reduce my rank, so that I can still stay. But it's Star Radio UK, it's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, Tinubu says that the redesign of the Naira, the policy redesign of Naira couldn't have stopped his election victory. And some are saying Is that true? Because we saw what was happening, and others are of the view that with everything and with the statement that have been made by the EU election observer group and everything, are you sure of what you are saying, Yomi?
Well, it seems that Tinubu is very sure, because now that he has been given the mandate, what else do you expect him to say? He'll be telling you exactly what he thinks is the right thing to say, especially, if I just take 10 seconds off.
Okay. Listeners, just bear with us. Yomi has to just turn one of the cameras on, so just bear with us whilst he does so. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, if you have any comments pertaining to everything that we discussed, feel free, post it on, and I promise you one thing for sure, I'm gonna read it. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to be doing that as well. But what do you think about 2 years on with Chief Sunday Igboho's situation? And we have that of, what do you call him as well? Nnamdi Kano's incarceration and everything. What do you think about all those things? What do you think is the way forward? Do you think Tinubu is one that we can trust or put our hope in, knowing that some way, somehow, he'll be able to sort those issues out? Because if there are some issues that is troubling Nigeria at the moment, this is one of the paramount ones troubling Nigerians in the country at the moment. As some say, we don't want to be part of that Nigeria any longer. We just want out. Is he going to say that let's give them referendum? And let's see. Maybe they give them referendum, and then whatever happens, well, he says that, well, I gave you a referendum, if people decided to vote against it, then that would do it. But well, the president says the Naira resigning wouldn't have had any impact. Let's go back to Yomi in our North London studios for him to bring you all the details on that. Over to you, Yomi.
Yes, Naira redesign policy couldn't stop my victory. This was Tinubu yesterday at Oba Sikiru at Daytona, one of the highly important royal father in the southwest. I believe he wanted to start there, just to also remind them that he visited that particular king during his campaign, and I think that we talked about it yesterday that he was going to Ogun State. And I think he's just, as you can see there, very, very gallant, excited. You can see the excitement in Bola Tinubu and also in Ijebu-Ode. I am from Ijebu-Ode as well, so just, for record purpose as well in Ogun State. So President Bola Tinubu on Thursday in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State Southwest, very close to Lagos State, but that is subject to traffic. Tinubu did not go on the road because the road network is very bad. So he was on the helicopter being received by the governor of the state, Dafabiodun, relieved the obstacle he had to summon in the build-up to the general elections to achieve his presidential ambition. He was speaking at the paramount ruler of Ijebu land, Oba Sikiru at Daytona in Ijebu, during what he called a thank you visit to the monarch. Tinubu, who was in Ogun State on the private visit, also visited Alake and the paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adetono Badebo, at his palace in Abeokuta. Tinubu arrived, with the Nigerian presidential chopper 5N FG2 Nigerian Air Force, landed just at about 10:18 a.m. at Dikbo Dina International Stadium in Ijebu-Ode, with a lot of entourage. Nuru Badu, the NSA was there, the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, the chief of staff, and also the presidential spokesperson, Dele Alake. It was received by the governor of Ogun State. But the most important thing is he said it during his campaign, Amadibo, Amawole, Beba Toju Epupamo, if you keep the Naira, if you hide the petrol, we will come out and we will vote. And yes, many Nigerians came out and voted. Whether they voted for Tinubu is a different thing, because the election tribunal is still ongoing. But as we speak right now, is already managing the affair in 1 month and 1 day so far, and it seems the journey has just begun.
Well, has the journey just begun? And is the president doing what he decided or he promised to do? It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK with Ms. Olayomi in our North London studios. And let me say good morning to Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, man of God. I hope you are doing very well. We thank God Nigeria has not happened to you and you are doing great. All right then. Now, Yomi, when it comes to security, apart from appointing those security chiefs, we were thinking that he would have they hit the ground running. Okay? But we have a situation where so far a month and 237 Nigerians have been massacred So somebody would say, well, same old, just another day. Yummy.
Well, security is one area that, as many Nigerians believe that Bola Tinubu should perform much better than the general, Muhammadu Buhari, that said in one of the headlines that's going to come up later that I ran from Daura to London because visitors won't let me rest in Nigeria. So it seems that Buhari is now resting in London because there are so many visitors that wants to catch him up in Daura after he has left the government. But coming back to the security, we have been monitoring, the security level in Nigeria, but it seems that the numbers of Nigerians that have been killed continue to grow every blessed day. At least 237 Nigerians have been massacred in the first month of Bola Tinubu. And that literally means that the man on your right-hand side, Nero Rubadu, that traveled with the president, is the NSA, director. Intelligence is similar to what we call the MI5. They would have to work, which Tinubu have stated clearly that these two, all the agency must share intelligence so that they can be able to infiltrate those that are committing the crime against humanity. At least 237 persons were killed in different attacks across the country in President Bola Tinubu's first month in office.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. What do you think? The hope, or have we passed the honeymoon period with everything that has happened? Well. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 1132. And let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, as Nigerians continue to wake up every day, I can just share these news that, these 1,000 naira, which I've kept with me, even though we thought we would not be able to spend it at some point when they were changing the money. And this now is worth just a pound, or should we say 1 pound to 1,000 naira. You might be asking me, how can I get it with 1,000 pounds or with 1,000 naira? You can literally get a bread that can share between 3 families. There's no egg. There's no way you can buy an egg with it. So that literally means that, the inflation is going to bite. But it seems that, Nigerians will reap reward of my policy is what Tinubu continue to promise. I mean, there's a picture of him. We see if we can get the engineer to get that picture out. All the governors that have been in Lagos State, remember that Tinubu was the main brain behind all these governors until one of them wanted to go away from his own initiative. And the one on the blue is Ambode. The one next to Ambode is the current governor, is doing a second term, and that is Babajide Sanwo-Olu rather. The president is right there. All this was happening in Lagos State. And the right one to the far with a little bit of red purple right there is, Fashola. Fashola was the star boy of Buhari. Whether as many Nigerians still believe is the star boy, a lot of the road network has not yet been done, even though he continued to defend, the former president. And we shall receive the joy of giving, the joy of preferences, the joy of resiliency, endurance. You will all reward my government. President Bola Tinubu said this in Lagos State yesterday at the reception in his honor by the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He said the reward will be replicated in all the state and local government, which is about 774 local government, through the active participation of all the 3 tiers of government. How is he going to do that? I have been studying in Kwara State in the last 5 days, and for each time I dipped into what is happening in Kwara State, 16 local government, none of this local government is functioning. That literally means that the citizens that are living there are trying to find why things are not working. So most of them are now making their way out of Kwara State to other states like Lagos State. But Tinubu promised that everybody will enjoy the reward. He's been able to save the first part of the 400 billion from the subsidy, and that cost the federal government last year $10 billion US. How much will these now be injected, into the other 3 tiers of government? First and foremost, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, even though it's a military diktat that a lot of Nigerians have rejected, yet Tinubu thinks that he will be able to work with the 3 tiers of government. That literally means that more power should be given to the local government as well. So let's move swiftly to the next headline, as we say. This is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now it has been officially confirmed by Buhari himself that I have left Nigeria. Not only Nigeria, I have left Daura because the pressure of visitor is not letting me to rest after the 8 years. Mr. Buhari said he traveled to London to rest quietly. And that means that if you have to visit him apart from myself and Star Radio UK, where we don't know where he is presently, we would love to know where he is so that we can just get him to come and speak to us. But, you will have to get a visa to get to London and then visit him. So that has cut out as many of his fans, those that want to pay that visit. So Buhari is currently in London. The former President Muhammadu Buhari is currently resting in London due to the fact that there are just too many visitors that wants to get hold of him, but he doesn't have the time because he wants to rest after serving as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the last 8 years. After completing his second term as president, Mr. Buhari retired to Daura last month, according to the statement that was released yesterday by Still Media aide Garba Shehu. The former president had hoped to find some quietness and be allowed to have his needed rest, but was hindered by the individuals who sought to pay him a courtesy visit on a goodwill. He chose to go home in Daura, hoping to find a type of quiet in which for himself, maybe London is the best way to quietness, and nobody, as long as you don't know where he's living, I mean, he can be in London for as much as possible. We thought he was going to Niger, but that doesn't seem that is going to happen anytime soon. Let's take some of the other news headline, and then I will take you straight to the social media where there's more activities going on. PDP Labour Party orders don't need IREF to verify election result. I was listening to one of the official of the PDP, of the INEC, and he actually said that every political party have their agents during the election. So, waiting for the IREF is not exactly what they should have done. But it seems also that, that is this current situation that I find it slightly difficult to understand why they are relying on the result from the IREF. That is coming from the INEC chairman that says that there is no discrepancy in the fact that it uploaded other election result on its portal but failed to upload the presidential election result, adding that political parties had agents at the polling unit and were not supposed to rely on the result uploaded on the INEC result viewing portal. So let me take you now straight to the social media as we continue to monitor some of what is trending. Nnamdi Kanu is trending again this morning at about almost 13.6k tweets. Also, let's see some of the other news that is trending as well. A lot of people are talking about Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho, as tomorrow will be 2 years, and so many things will be happening tomorrow. Mike Adenuga was spotted, is the owner of the Glow Network, during the visit to Jebu by Tinubu, the president, yesterday. Is a rare occasion that you see him out, in visit to, as a guest to so many events in Nigeria. But I think maybe Tinubu was just too important that it can't miss such. So let's take a look at what is happening. Wow, what a very sad situation as a Nigerian police officer runs over a citizen with a car in Edo, and I can see the image that the vehicle was literally being driven by this officer over. I don't know why the individual was lying down, whether they're trying to stop the vehicle, but the police officer drove over the man while he's still under the car. It shows that Nigeria is just a lawless and a crime scene of its own. Chidi Odikalu, whenever crook folks in Nigeria are looking for useful food, they look to the state of Southeast. My uncle at Festo Koye 2003 really sound both crooked and foolish in this clip. When this tour of duty with INEC is over, he will look back on this as far as from his finest hour. And we're talking about, saying that most Nigerians and most political parties have their party agent. That is what he's actually responding to during the interaction yesterday. Neferati is a supporter of Peter Obi, with that image here. Let's see if we can get this image in from the engineer, and then we can exactly say what Neferati. The banter continues to go on even though the election is done yet, with all kind of images that you can think of, and that is the image right there that has been put there by Neferati, and then I'll be telling you what actually is now said on this particular image. And right there she says, and I quote, Tinubu say it is God that will fix Nigeria. Wallahi, you people will suffer. With a lot of comment underneath, a town all different from Balabu, about to be unveiled. And this one say extra shege loading, brace of fox, and this one say APC is just starting cooking for them. I might see maybe we can get this other image in as well, and you can see that the banter continue even after the election. And yes, Tinubu, like we said yesterday, true, even Bajabiamila said the same thing, that Nigeria is a big weight, and the only one that can save Nigeria is Almighty Allah. So you can see right there the image of the APC that are making the food ready, for Nigerians, as we say right there, in these other, I don't know what she's cooking there, but it seems that, she's making some nice meal under the gas. At least she can use the gas. So let's take a look at one or two more, and then I'll return back again to you in the studio as we continue to monitor the situation. The Association of the Mobile Money and Banking Agents in Nigeria, Lagos chapter, has released a unified price for point of sale known as POS transaction. You wonder a country like Nigeria, where we should be talking about ATM and different things happening, but yet POS is the only way of removing money that you have in your bank account. Star Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'll come back again now to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, interesting updates from Nigeria. More details there from Mr. Olayomi Koiki. But let me acknowledge Bishola Oladele. Yes, it's a beautiful Bishola. We hope you are doing very, very well as well. But before we run up the discussions this morning, is there any indication of when the electoral tribunal is going to be bringing their verdict at all? What is happening there?
Sorry, I didn't catch that properly. The line was a little bit...
Okay, yes, I was asking the question, is there any indication of when the electoral tribunal will bring their verdict?
Well, I mean, they're still not yet done with the, with collation of all the gathering of information, so there's still the presentation going on. So I don't think we would know anything of such anytime soon, but definitely there's still a lot of work that still needs to be done. But I'm sure by the time they've complete their every gatherings of evidence, then the verdict will come out. Whatever the verdict is, at least Tinubu is still the president. If the verdict is going to change, he has enjoyed it for the first 1 month, and if it's still going to be the same, he will enjoy it for the next 4 years. And that means Atiku, I don't know whether Atiku will be able to come back after this, because Atiku has been contesting since 1993 during the former election that didn't allow MK Abiola to be the president. Atiku has been on that journey, even though he has been a vice president, but his wish is to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Peter Obi still have the chances. That is if Nigeria still holds itself together, because the agitation continue, the right to self-determination continue to be pushed, and that also means that as the weekend tomorrow, all the Yorubas will be doing as many activities to remember the great man and the one that kept the spirit of the Yoruba nation alive till date, even though as many people want him to just say he's not doing anymore. But he continued to say, Yoruba nation, no going back.
Wow. Yoruba nation not going back. Now, with all those updates from Nigeria so far, what do you think? And where are you listening to us from? We would love to acknowledge you wherever you are. Just feel free and share with us what your thoughts are about the issues that we've discussed. Is there any special program that's going to be going on for the 2 years? 2 years on, call it tomorrow, of the massacre? And again, there was one question that somebody asked me. Now, what has happened to Chief Sunday Igboho's property, his residence where this attack took place? Is it cordoned off? Have they allowed?
The president is the property is still there. He has been able to refurbish it.
Okay.
People are living there. The family, the security, and that property is still also serving the community. Remember that the same property generates electricity, street light precisely to 5 different streets right from his own residence.
Wow. A person like this, and they decide to pursue him. My goodness. Interesting. And is there any is there going to be maybe a statement?
Yeah, there's a lot of different activities that has been put together, from prayer to speech and different media. We'll be talking about it from today till tomorrow. Reflection, especially grateful to Lady K, as we call her, that gave that 12-minute 59 seconds video out of the premises. If otherwise, and she was the reason, that was the reason why she was kept behind. And after all the women were dropped on their way to Abuja, Lady K was taken with them because she exposed them according to the DSS. Nobody was meant to know they were there.
Well, they were there. At least there was a camera. These phones, it caught him. It caught them there. Lady K, we hope you are doing very, very well. And to every one of you who has been part of this journey, supporting the cause. I never want to say that attack somebody because they don't belong to your tribe or no. That's not what we're saying. But the fact that people are being marginalized and you see people just coming there, just destroying your own people's property, killing them, then you have to do something about it. That is where we are coming from. All right? Yes. So, Yomi, before you go.
Well, it's the weekend again. Like I said, the weekend is full of a lot of activities on the Star Radio UK network. From Saturday with the music, the worship praise over the weekend. Make sure you stay tuned. But I'll be back again on Monday where we will continue. And in Nigeria, not happen to us by the time we return back to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Make sure you stay tuned to the Star Radio UK network. Bye for now.
All right, listeners, I'm going to bring you a lovely tune. This is from Janet. It's Olayomi. That is my nation. All right. Yes, in commemoration of what happened 2 years. Tomorrow will be exactly 2 years when this incident happened. But enjoy this tune, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned, and don't you go away.
Toe dog.
Ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa
This is Starr Radio.
Owó tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá.
Ni mo fẹ́, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ìlú tán Ọlọ́run fẹ́ lọ lọ́rùn yan.
orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ọlọ́run dìde jọ̀wọ́ má ṣe wòran mọ́. Ìyà ìsọ̀kẹ́ kò pọ̀ jù lórílẹ̀-èdè. Èmi fòmìnira.
Well, listeners, something to celebrate. 2 years on. Tomorrow will be exactly 2 years when Chief Sunday Igboho's premises was attacked. But Pastor Mo says, good morning, Buhari. There is nowhere you can rest, either in Daura or anywhere on this planet Earth. You cause discomfort for people. Nigeria, you too will not have it. My pastor, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well as well. Now, I hope that I made your day with playing that wonderful tune. It's one tune that I've fallen in love with, and this past few college months and years on. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be taking a break, and then once we come back, we'll be looking at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. And as you know, we'll be having Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services and Money Man, joining in exactly at 12:30, where he's going to be bringing you the Money Hour. But now let's take this commercial break and I'll be with you. Stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Adam Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Pastor Mo said, wow, God bless our Chief Sunday Igboho eternally. In Jesus' name. All right then, thank you very, very much there. And to every one of you who is still on supporting us just on the various other platforms, watching us live on the Starr Radio UK Morning Show, I salute you. I remain yours sincerely. Your one and only Archie. But hey,
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
All right then. Now, if you want to join in the conversation by calling into the program, yes, you can call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58 0208-133-2257 or 058. US or Canada is 0017183032737. 0017183032737. To text or WhatsApp at 0753966144. 0753966144. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK. Email address is info@starradiouk.com. info@starradiouk.com. All right then. Now, if you want to Skype at us as well, you can do so. Our Skype ID is Starr Radio UK 1. Starr Radio UK 1. Also, you want to WhatsApp call us as well, you can do so. I'll be able to pick that one as well. And it's the same number, 0753966144. 0753966144. So, don't be a stranger. Get involved as others have. All right then. Now let's move on to other parts of the world and look at the stories making the rounds as we are already pressed with time. Okay. Now when it comes to stories making the round, conflict in Western DRC, at least 20 dead this week according to HRW. It's one of the stories making the rounds there as well. Morocco now culture inspires fashion designers. It's one of the stories. And Guinea calls for justice in the return of a body of a young man. All right. And drone strikes target Wagner base in Libya, military sources are saying. And then risking their lives, Egyptians dream of Europe when they set sail in the Mediterranean. Sad. It's sad. It's sad. And the question is, why are leaders not putting things in place to make people at least decide to live? If you say, I want to live here, I want to work here, at least they have something that they know that at least the effort that they are putting in is bringing something in. But we don't see that. Let me start from here. Gunmen have killed at least 20 people this week in an ambush in the west of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the story said the latest episode in the communal conflict that has claimed hundreds of lives in the past year, Human Rights Watch has said on Thursday. Now, according to the Human Rights NGO, the ambush was carried out on Monday by Mobondo militiamen against a truck carrying mainly traders from the Teke community near the village of Molono. In the Kwamouth territory, that's Maindombe province, northeast of Kinshasa. Now, the assailants then set fire to the vehicle, wrote the HRW in a statement posted on its website. A conflict broke out in June 2022 between the Teke, who consider themselves to be the originators and owners of the villages located along the Congo River over a distance of around 200 kilometers, and the Yaka, who came to settle after them. The simmering conflict degenerated into widespread violence after many farmers, mainly Yaka, rejected an increase in customary royalties by the Teke chiefs, recall Human Rights Watch. Now, groups calling themselves Mumbondo recruited mainly from the so-called non-native Yaka, Suku, Mbala, Ndinga, and Songo communities and targeted Teke villages with machete, spears, shotguns, and military assault rifles. The NGO continues. The Congolese security forces carried out operations but were unable to put an end to the violence. It notes the violence has resulted in hundreds of deaths and forced thousands of people to flee their homes. Insecurity is preventing many peoples from sitting their end-of-year exams, while the voter census for the December election has so far been unable to take place. Now, the security of the people are more important than whatever voter, whatever that they are talking about there. What measures is the government putting in place? Are they going to get security protection so that these individuals will be able to, those who are the children who are supposed to sit for their exams will be able to do so, and all other things there? Oh, thank you very much, Pastor Mo. He said, yes, it's a lovely song. Thank you very much, Pastor Mo. I thank God you enjoy the tune as well. After all, I'm here to serve you. All right, then. Starr Radio UK, just gone past 12, and it is the Friday edition of the morning show. As we say on this platform, your weekend starts from here. Now, Tanzania has lifted night bus travel ban after decades. Now, Tanzania has lifted a long-standing ban on nighttime up-country bus travel. The decision was announced by the Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa in Parliament, who highlighted that the ban initially imposed in the 1990s was as a response to the escalating number of road accidents and bus hijackings. The lifting of the ban comes after thorough consideration of inputs from various stakeholders in the transport sector, alongside marked improvements in infrastructure and security. Now, Prime Minister Majaliwa emphasized the government's commitment to promoting safer and more efficient travel options for citizens, noting that the advancement in infrastructure and security measures have contributed to the reassessment of the night travel prohibition. The uplifting of the decades-long ban is expected to have a substantial impact on the country's transport sector, with potential benefits in terms of economic growth and enhanced travel options for passengers. A good one there. We hope that the measures that they put in place are robust enough to combat any road accidents and abductions or theft and everything, hijacking that is alleged to have been taking place before the ban was introduced. It is Starr Radio UK. In Guinea, the body of a 19-year-old Guinean man killed during a roadside checkpoint on the 14th of June in southwest France was received in Conakry on Wednesday evening by his family and the authorities, who called for justice to be done, an AFP report has said. So this is something that happened before this new event in France again. Now, it is with great emotion that we receive the body of young Olayomi. The head of state had promised that the body will be brought back here to Guinea for dignified burial, which has been done by the grace of God, said Foreign Affairs Minister Marizanda Koyate on his arrival at the airport. The conditions in which he died will be clarified. Guinea wants the justice system in France to do its utmost to elucidate the conditions in which he died, he added. The father of the young man killed, Fodi Camara, thanked the authorities for standing by the family. The 52-year-old French police officer who fired the fatal shot was charged on Wednesday with culpable homicide, with a ban on possessing a weapon and a ban on practicing his profession, announced the public prosecutor in Angoulême. In the early hours of 14th of June in Saint-Yeris, Sous Charente, on the outskirts of Angoulême, now Al-Hussein Kamara was fatally shot by a police officer as he tried to escape being stopped during a roadside check. According to the initial investigation, while two police vehicles were attempting to stop him for a check, the young man put his car into reverse and then drove forward, hitting the legs of a police officer, who then fired a shot. Now, Mr. Kamara's family were quick to denounce the incident as a blunder. The young Guinean, who arrived in France in 2018, was working in a supermarket logistics base where he was traveling. According to those close to him, he was unknown to the law, according to the public prosecutor. Between 1,800 and 1,000 people took part in a march after his death, demanding justice in the presence of the Guinean ambassador to France, Sikon Sila. The case echoes the death on Thursday in Nanterre, near Paris, of Nahel, a young 17-year-old motorist who was killed by a police officer as he tried to escape a roadside check. The tragedy led to 2 nights of violence across France, but it's now ended in 3 nights of such violence. But this all coming away from Starr Radio UK. So it's a sad one. The police authorities there also racist, as we see being perpetrated in the US, and that now, I mean, is that the same template that they also use it? But again, the question is, why don't they stop? Is it because they know that default position, the police see them, oh, this one is a black guy, or is an Asian, and therefore default position is a criminal? Is that what? and therefore they don't trust them that even if I'm in the wrong, they will give me the chance to prove myself. And therefore, when they see them, the best way is to run, because after all, even when you are stopped before them, they just trying to just do ill against you. What do you think about all that? It's quite an interesting one. It's quite an interesting development, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's go to another part of Africa, and this time around Ghana, but that will be after this short break. Stay tuned. Don't touch the dials. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi, I'm Adam Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free. Hi, I'm Adam Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
Go Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK. 7 minutes past the top of the hour at the time, as I did say. Exactly at 12:30, we'll bring the first part of the program to a close, and then we'll go to Kent, where our money man is to bring you the money hour. So wherever you do or wherever you are, don't touch the dial, because we're going to be making sure that you enjoy the rest of the program there as well, because we're going to be telling you things that you need to do to save up, to make some money, to get some money in your wallet. And what's in your wallet, nobody can take it out as well. What about that? Okay, now let's move on straight to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Starr Radio UK. Well, in Ghana, the Kokobo trial judge in Oponi's case transferred report. The Herald has obtained exclusive details regarding the transfer of Justice Kwesi Anochijima, who is currently presiding over the criminal case involving Dr. Stephen Kwabena Oponi and Alhaji Saidu Agongo. The investigation confirms that the Justice Jima has been removed from the case through a surprise administrative move orchestrated by the Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Takono. Now, sources have revealed that Justice Jima, who emphasized the importance of a fair trial, has been reassigned to Kumasi in the Ashanti region while awaiting the Court of Appeal decision on its order to start the trial afresh. So, what is happening? Now, the Court of Appeal is set to deliver its judgment on July 3, 2023 regarding the Attorney General's appeal against the restart of proceedings as directed by Justice Jima. The case was initially presided over by retired Justice Jackson Clemens Honyenuga, who faced accusations of bias and was subsequently banned from the case by the Supreme Court. Now, according to the Herald, Chief Justice Tokonu personally informed Justice Jima of his transfer via a phone call. Now, subsequently, a transfer letter was sent instructing him to vacate the High Court Land Court 2 in Accra and relocate to Kumasi immediately. Now, many legal experts suspect ulterior motives behind the sudden transfer, noting that such actions are typically carried out during legal vacations. The timing of the transfer coinciding with Justice Jima's involvement in the Oponi case and his decision to start the trial afresh have raised some suspicions of punitive intentions, because he was saying that it should be a fair trial. So there's not going to be any cavalier way of dealing with the situation. Now, subsequently, a transfer letter was sent instructing him to vacate the High Court Land 2, which they say. Justice Onyenuga, a retired Supreme Court judge who faced several controversies and accusations of bias, was initially prohibited from presiding over the case in July 2021 by a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court led by his close associate Justice Jones Joche. However, upon review, the Attorney General filed an appeal in a subsequent 4-3 decision that Onyenuga was reinstated. Now, upon taking over the case, Justice Jima firmly stood his grounds, asserting that given the high profile and politically sensitive nature of the trial, it would be unfair to continue with proceedings that were marred by numerous allegations. He stated that starting the trial de novo, that is afresh, will provide the court with first-hand information and ensure a fair trial for the accused. To facilitate the fair trial, Justice Jima ordered the parties to file their witness statement by April 21, with the case management scheduled for April 25. However, with his unexpected transfer, it is evident that he will no longer be hearing the case due to administrative decisions made by the Chief Justice Tokono. Meanwhile, during the adjournments, the government faced challenges in presenting its witnesses to prove its claims of financial loss to the state against Dr. Oponi Alhaji Agongo and Agricult, an agro-based private company owned by Alhaji Agongo. The Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah Dame subsequently filed an appeal with the Court of Appeal, alleging that Justice Jima had misdirected himself regarding the adoption of evidence in the trial. Now, despite multiple adjournment, the government still failed to file its witness statements by the assigned dates. The Chief State Attorney, Evelyn Kelson, requested a further adjournment to July 12, which was granted to the court. In parallel, the Court of Appeal, presided over by Justice Philip Bright Mensah, with Justice Ernest Owusu Dapar and Justice Jennifer Dazi as panelists, heard arguments from the Attorney General against starting the case afresh. The Attorney General, Godfrey Dame, is said to have prayed the Court of Appeal to quash Justice Jima's decision to start the case de novo. Now, if somebody going to sit on the case looks at the whole thing and thinks, I foresee, or hindsight, looking at hindsight, I can see that and that were not done well. So let's start afresh, de novo, as the legal fraternity will refer it to, and then let's see what is going to happen there. Is it wrong? That doesn't give people. I mean, if Dr. Pune and Agongo are found guilty after a restart of the trial, wouldn't that, give people the peace of mind that, look, these judges or the judicial system is not being controlled by the ruling government? But now somebody say, well, there's a new what do you call him, Chief Justice, and she has directed otherwise. But it's so marred that people think there is an ulterior motive. But what do you think about that? Let me hear you. It is Starr Radio, okay? 14 minutes past 12 the time. We've got another 16 minutes to cross over to Kent, where Money Man is. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. It is Starr. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Now let's go to other parts of the world because we are already pressed with time. Well, the trouble still goes on in France. But police says the Ministry of the Interior says 875 people were arrested last night as riots took place across France, according to updated figures. A crisis meeting of ministers convened by President Macron is starting shortly as the country is being rocked by protests which have been going on since Tuesday. Now I'm looking at the situation once again here. Now when things like this have happened, a life has been taken illegally by the security forces. So this time around the police. And the public has been angered because they see this template going on. I mean, the same thing. To what length do we go to express our anger? And to who do we target that anger? Is it to the police or the authorities from where that particular issue happened? Or do you think that it should be something or somewhere where we look at the situation and think, let's just go, I mean, ground and then destroy things? Because some people are of the view that it could be there's a tendency that one, individual private entities properties have been destroyed. This looting that is going on, is it the police station that they are looting or some other people's shops that they are looting? It's quite worrying there. But what do you think about all those things that are happening? This is Starr Radio UK. This is the morning show, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so to what length and where do we stop? Because I remember back in the day when a police shot one guy, I've forgotten the name, in somewhere North London, where there was that London burning thing that took place. You remember? I forgot. It's quite a long time though. People's properties were burnt. I mean, looting and all those things that took place. Well, it angered people. Yes, of course, because they think that they are not being treated well. However, why should private entities pay for that? Because if you think that it's the police that did that, why don't you go to the police headquarters and go and attack them? But why do we go on destroying private entities? You look at the cars that have been burned, they are individual cars. The looting, the shops, they are people's private entities. Okay. But what do you think? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now exactly to 18 minutes past the top of the hour. Some further stories coming from other parts of the world. Now, interestingly, yesterday night I came by some story. It's not a story, so if I say a story, that means something that okay. But a sound bite of a sound bite of the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and he was referring to Putin and saying that Putin is losing the war. Now, he was supposed to refer to the war in Ukraine, but he said Putin is losing the war in Iraq and back home. So the question was, how agile is he now? Is old age affecting his thoughts? I don't want to be ageist, but do you think that the Democrats have to go on pushing him to be the one who is going to be running for that second term that they are looking at? Or like the Kennedys, one of the Kennedy family members was looking at either going to vie for that position. Should that be allowed? So that the old boy can take the backstage and chill out. But many a time we've seen him trip and fall or be virtually as if he's going to be falling down and stuff like that has gone on. But I listen to all those things and I'm asking myself the question, so let's say Donald Trump wins the Republican nomination to become their flag bearer, the presidential candidate. Do you think Biden, upon everything that Donald Trump is said to have done, I mean everything, okay, I'm not a supporter, I'm not one that supports Donald Trump because of his policies and the way he goes about things. No, I'm not one of them, no. But if you take Trump and you take Biden and you put them together, who would you now tend to? But when somebody say when it comes to the US, institutions work. So you can be that frail, but you can still be there because the institutions will work. You have individuals who are doing the work daily and doing everything possible. But what do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio. Let me have your take on that before we cross over to Ken, where our money man is. Okay. Okay. Now moving on straight to some other stories making the round. In Cambodia, Cambodian Prime Minister is threatening Facebook ban after post ruled violent. Now, Cambodia's leader Hun Sen has quit Facebook and threatened to block it in his country after the platform oversight board recommended he be suspended for 6 months. Well, you know what? He reckons he's above the law. Now, Hun Sen had called for violence against his political opponent in a video in January, which was viewed by 600,000 times. His move comes days before he launches a re-election campaign to extend his 38-year-long rule. Of course, a dictator he is. So how he works or does things at home, he thinks that he can take it to the international scene. So Hun Sen was a prolific Facebook user and his page had 40 million followers. After he left the platform on Thursday, he also threatened to block Facebook in the country. Now, talking to garment workers in Puzat province on Friday, he warned he could at any time block the platform for a short period or forever to prevent exiled opposition politicians from talking to their country's citizens. He says, don't be arrogant. You guys are staying overseas. You are using Facebook for communications. We could block Facebook. He threatened in comments aimed at opponents. Now, Hun Sen urged Cambodians to migrate to other social media platforms, including Telegram and TikTok, which he has moved to. Well, it is interesting how power corrupts, and as we say it, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the way that he has control over his own country, he thinks that he can do that on the international scene. But if he had posted something right, and then he was, Facebook, as he did some of us, took the whole listen down, maybe block you from even transmitting on various platforms. That's why when we're transmitting on Facebook, we don't have the Starr Radio UK Facebook page, so you have the Archie Hammond one that is working. That's why we encourage you to be sharing that with our various listeners there. So it's quite an interesting one. Now we put in issue that is going on, how people were being marginalized, how people were being massacred in Nigeria, and then they decided no, that was violent, and they decided to take it down. Fine, okay, but this man thinks that he can do the same. But I tell you, Facebook will say no this time round, because he was calling for his opponents to be killed or attacked and stuff like that, which is not right, right? Okay. Now, Poland charges Russia ice hockey player with spying. The suspect, a Russian national playing in Poland's major league, faces up to 10 years in prison. Now, if you are a Russian, you by default position you become a suspect if you go to any other part of the world. What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story before we come to London. Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic rocket plane has carried customers to the edge of space in its first commercial flight. The 70-minute mission was purchased for the Italian Air Force and the Italian National Research Council. The Unity vehicle climbed 279,000 feet, that's 85 kilometers over the New Mexico desert, before gliding back down to Earth. The mission took off from Spaceport America at around 08:30 local time, that's 14:30 GMT, and was live streamed around the world. Well, interesting, and applaud to say, at least they managed to go there and come back in peace not in pieces, as we've seen the Titan submersible that went missing a couple of weeks ago, and now when it was found, when its wreck had been brought out, they were saying they think that there are human remains in there. They've not identified whose remains is though, but we'll be following very, very closely. As and when we have any information, we promise to bring you to the fore. It is Starr Radio UK. Now moving on to the final segment of the program. Before we take you to Kent, where our money man is. The medical degrees could be shortened by a year, and there will be thousands more university places for medical students in a major plan to boost the NHS workforce. I bet I want to be a doctor now. The other time I was telling my wife I want to go and be a doctor, because back in the day I wanted to be a doctor, and I decided to change everything to do PR and journalism and all that stuff, because I was enjoying working in a PR firm during some holidays, and I thought, that is quite an interesting one. Oh, but I think I've done well. What do you think? But now I think that I need to join the NHS to help them. You know, they need doctors, they need nurses. Which one do you think I should go in for? All right then. Well, the plan, which has been delayed for more than a year, has been called historic by the NHS leaders. But Health Secretary Steve Barclay admitted patients will not see some of the benefits for several years. Now, critics say poor working conditions in the NHS could undermine the plan. The NHS has been beset by strikes this year, and despite a dispute with doctors is still continuing. Now, pay does not feature in the plan. Instead, it focuses on increasing training places for medical and nursing students and new apprenticeship scheme for doctors. A consultation on whether 5-year medical degrees could be shortened by a year will also be launched. Now, currently, half of new doctors and nurses have to be recruited from abroad, as the UK supply route has struggled to keep up with demands. 1 out of every 10 posts remains unfilled. More than 110,000 vacancies, and without action, this could rise to 360,000 by 2037. Modeling for the plan suggests. So, do you want to be a nurse? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to work in the health sector? Something good coming your way. Yeah. So let's go. I'm going to tell my producer and all of us, we're now going to be recruiting to become nurses and doctors and work in the health sector. Yes? Okay. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio. Okay, let me bring you one other story, and then we'll bring the first part of the program to close. Well, I know Felix is in Scotland, well, this is one story from Scotland. The SNP's new auditors have flagged up an issue with its accounts, the party has revealed. Its treasurer said the SNP was still on track to file the necessary paperwork with the Electoral Commission on time, but he said one qualification has been made by the auditors because of the missing documents. Now, the account will note that the original records for some cash and checks had not been retained for the current and prior financial year. Now, the record relates to members' donation and raffle income. The auditors will state in the accounts, we have been unable to satisfy ourselves by alternative means regarding the completeness of income in respect of the above limitation in scope. Now, consequently, we are unable to determine whether any adjustment to income is necessary in the current or prior year, and the potential impact on opening reserves accordingly. As whether that's going to be or not is another situation, but this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other final story before we take a break, and I bring you some music, and I take you to Kent. Now, the Centrica boss has warned energy bills will stay high for foreseeable future. Now, energy bills are likely to stay high for the foreseeable future, according to the boss of the company that owns British Gas. The Centrica chief executive Chris Archie said, while he believes the worst of the energy crisis is over, risks remain. A new price cap comes into effect this weekend, which will see households with typical energy usage pay of $2,074. Mr. Oshie said prices are falling from the rise caused by the Russian war, but are higher than the long-term average. I think the first act of the crisis is over. The first act of the crisis is over, he said. I think that what we got to remember is the energy prices had more than doubled before Russia invaded Ukraine. Now prices are back down to pre-invasion levels, but they're still 2.5 times the long-run average. The gas and electricity bills will fall below 2,500 level that was subsidized by the government under its energy price guarantee scheme. However, under the new price cap, which is set by the regulator of GEM, household bills will remain £800 more expensive than 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Cornwall Insight and consultancy firm estimate that the changes in the price cap, which limits what companies can charge per unit of gas and electricity, will take energy bills for a typical consumer to £1,871 per year from October. That is then forecast to rise to £1,900 from January. So, well, that is some information coming to you as to what is going to happen to you and what you get in your pockets. But what do you think about all that? This is coming your way from Starr Radio UK. That is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a break, I come back, and I will bring you everything that you need to know pertaining to what is happening in
perfect for any situation. Looking for a new way to stay refreshed and hydrated? Look no further than iRange Hydration Drink. iRange is perfect for any situation where you need a little pick-me-up. It's low in calories and has a delicious orange flavor that you will love. So don't wait any longer. Grab a can of iRange today and start enjoying the refreshing. Buy online at irange.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
This is Starr Radio UK.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes it will. My brother, and I say brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees.
Well, make a Paris for you. Change is gonna come. Change is gonna come. But we're gonna work on it. And I hope that you're working on it as well. But it is Starr Radio UK, and now I have to take you to Kent. Last night I was watching some program on the telly.
Carry on.
And then I had I was watching some scams that seem to be going on.
Long time coming.
And people losing lots of money. So this afternoon we're going to bring you scams.
Oh yeah.
That is going on. So stay tuned, don't you go away. But now I've got with me Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GL Accountancy Services, our money man, and let's move on.
Good afternoon, Archie.
How are
lovely to be speaking to you again this afternoon.
Yes, so lovely to have you on. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, very well. The weather has improved over the last few days or week or so. So trying to enjoy it as best as I can.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So he's enjoying the sunshine. While some people are crying, some people are enjoying, you see.
Well, that's life.
All right then. So please, what are we looking at today?
Today, just want to pick up on a conversation we started having a couple of weeks or so ago, mainly around the issues of scams.
Yeah.
Scams, be it online scams, email, text. A lot of people get these emails or voicemail messages, purporting to be from HMRC regarding tax issues and all that. I want to delve into what some of these scams are, what people have experienced, how to spot them, and maybe if we have time, go on to look at also what to do if you have become a victim.
Yeah. Okay. The other time when I spoke about when we're discussing, I did talk about a friend's wife who was scammed. I mean, when they received a call from the an alleged HMRC call saying that her tax something wasn't right, and then the person, the husband wasn't in, so you went to the panic frenzy, and then the next moment paid up to £2,000.
Oh dear.
So when the husband came and they said, they called, they said after blah blah blah, and there's complaint. The husband said, no, it's a scam.
Oh my
but
God.
She'd already parted with that money. I don't know whether she's managed to reclaim that money. And this morning, interestingly, whilst I was getting myself ready, I saw that I was expecting some calls. Then I saw that this number, I don't know it. Let me pick up. They said, your NI number has been used, blah 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 blah. You have to. I was waiting patiently because I wanted to really talk to them. I pressed 1, and then they didn't. Then I decided to just hang up. Now, so it is something that is going on that if you are not, if you don't take care, you might fall prey to it, and it will be. So what are some of these scams going on, so that some of our listeners will know, those who don't know will know, and those who were not part of the program the last time we had a conversation on that will know as well.
Yeah, so first of all, I think is the first thing to establish is that HMRC will never contact you and ask you for your bank details or your personal information, or send you notification by email or text for things concerning tax rebates or refunds or personal payment information. HMRC will never do that. And if they have to contact you by phone, usually or email, they would quote your tax reference number.
That's right.
That is something that these scammers do not have. And so they will not be able to put it in a text or in an email. Some of these contacts come, as you've described, some of the contacts, the scams we've had so far, either by text, and it will tell you you have a tax refund for this year, blah, 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 and that contact us on this number or click 1 and then, to contact us. And then once you contact them, they'll start to have the conversation with you and they'll try to retrieve bank details, or sometimes in certain cases they manage to get people to hand over money to get their tax refund. Most common as well sometimes are emails, and then you'd get an email with and then in the email it has hmrc.gov.co something. It looks very realistic. If you are not very careful, it can catch anybody out. Also about refunds or tax rebates, and telephone calls have been coming in. We've seen the telephone calls coming where sometimes, as you described, they threaten you basically that you're going to go to jail or something, a tax fraud associated with your accounts or NI number. So we know all those kind of things are going on.
Well, listeners, if you don't know, now you know. Maybe you have some questions, maybe you had some experience and you want to share with us, or you want advice, as Amani Man is saying that, well, if you've fallen prey to that as well, we will be advising you maybe what you can do to do that. So, Mr. Tabiri, how do somebody spot this? Assuming somebody's gotten an email from HMRC, you look at initially at a quick glance, you can just say, oh, this is an email from HMRC. But when you're going to reply it, you can see that those of us who scrutinize this will find out that no, that address there, clicking on it doesn't go to the HMRC. Now, how will other people spot that out, sir?
Yeah, so you first of all check the email address carefully. What the scammers try to do is that they would set up an email address. Sometimes even it's a Gmail or a Hotmail account with HMRC somewhere in between. So if you don't check the email address correctly, that's you get caught out. So that's one way to find out. So check the email address, check the full email address. It might have hmrc.gov.uk at hotmail.com or at Gmail or at whatever. But the email address of HMRC is not a Google account. It's a gov.co.uk account.
Yeah.
So it should be very easy.
Yeah. Okay.
You could also they sometimes take images from HMRC website, the logos and things like that, just to make it a bit more convincing. So look at it carefully. If you see an original image, sometimes the image is very poor quality, and you can see that this has been adapted from somewhere. Also check the language that they're using. The language is usually very threatening. They come across very aggressive.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is to get you to react very quickly to them, not consult or get help from anywhere, so that before they are found out, they manage to grab your money and go. And also, if you get some of these things out of the blue, if it's unexpected, that is also something that you should be worried about. HMRC will not contact you out of the blue. Usually, if they have to call you about a tax debt or anything like that, or refunds, they would have sent letters, actual letters in the post to you. So they won't get contact you out of the blue. And then also where the email is asking for personal details, also be warned. And also where sometimes they put in, especially if it comes onto your phone via text message.
Yeah.
They'll put a link in there to click on this link, and then get in touch with us.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't click on any of such links because they may have malware in those links, where they may take control over your phone and be able to access your bank accounts on your phone or access your details, passwords, etc. that you have on your account and take over completely. So those are the things that we need to watch out for.
Okay. Listeners, Star Radio UK, Money Hour with our money man, Mr. Tabiri, CEO of GI Accountancy Services. Now, you have any issues pertaining to your accounting, name it, from archaeology to zoology, he will solve it out for you. Okay, if it's too tough, he will point you at the right direction. So in the right direction. So what about that? Make sure you listen to him all the time. There are lots of discussions I've had. If you go to our podcast session, they are all there. Or you go to the Star Radio UK every Friday from 12:30. We have him on, and he's on today. And today we are looking at scams, various scams. Yes. Okay. Now, so. Let me leave it with you, then you can touch on the others and what people can do there as well. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So before we look at what actions to take if you receive some of these, what we need to note is that when they contact you, usually they use a tax rebate to entice you, get you interested. Especially at this time where people are struggling, with money and worried about their jobs and all that. These scams are thriving because they know people are worried and people are thinking about where the next money is going to come from. And so it's becoming very, very popular. They know that if they entice you with a tax rebate, you will be interested and you would follow their instructions. So they entice you and then they ask for your personal details, your name, your address, your date of birth, and then they might ask you to confirm your bank or credit card details so that they may issue your repayment to you. In several instances, they've gotten so many details of people, even their mother's maiden names and all that. And once they get that information, they either use it or they sell that information on to other criminal gangs who use the details for all sorts of things. So as tempting as a rebate may sound, if you're not sure, you're interested, I would say get in touch, find another way to get in touch with. If you receive such communication, get in touch with HMRC and find out about some of these, about the contact, whether it's real or not. If you are not expecting any rebate, like I said, it's very unlikely that out of the blue HMRC will email you about a tax rebate. Usually they would write to you in such instances. So that is something to watch out for. Tax phishing emails purporting to be from HMRC can happen at any time, but the most common times we see around the tax filing and tax payment deadline, because they know that around those times people expect HMRC contact. So it is another time that we see a heightened rise in the contacts in these scams. And so people need to be aware. So if you get those contacts around tax filing date or deadline, then just be aware or be cautious with that type of contact.
Okay. Interesting.
So if you receive some of these, like we have discussed, if you receive an email or a text message with a link in it to send you or link you to a website, please don't put any personal details on there. Certainly do not click on the link, because it might, have malware in there that would be used to steal information off your phone. So be very, 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 very cautious about that. Then we've looked at how to spot the signs of the emails, that they'll come usually with threatening language, especially the voicemail. Some of them, as I've listened to one where they say, "We're sending the police to your door right now and you're going to jail." And you can imagine, if you are an older person who is not savvy with all this online text, and you get a phone call on your landline, they target the elderly. And who are living by themselves, and they get some of these calls, and they think it's genuine, it's authentic, and then they hand over, loads of their savings to these groups. So it's a very, very serious matter. Do not share any personal details online. Usually they'll call you and say, especially they would mimic HMRC calls and try to make it look authentic, and then ask you to confirm some details so that they verify you, as the person they are talking to. That is a way in which they used to take details off you. So, for example, if you've got a password, HMRC will never ask you to confirm all of your passwords. If at all, they would ask you to confirm some letters or some digits in the password. You are aware of that. If they ask you to confirm your password, know that it's a scam. Do not give any information away easily. Now, if you come across any of these scams, HMRC have opened a portal or telephone number for people to report these suspicious calls, text or emails that they receive. If you forward it on to HMRC, they will look into it and try and get to the bottom of it, and hopefully to stop the scam, or stop these people, duping people and stealing our money. So if you have managed to identify them as a scam, then you report it to HMRC. If you have fallen victim to the scam, then your only course of remedy is to report it to Action Fraud. So call the Action Fraud hotline, or report it online. Give them as much details as possible in terms of how the contact was made, any records that you have, telephone numbers for the contact, email address, the actual email or text messages that you receive, and everything that happened. If you give them the full information, then they will try some of these. They would have information on some of these scams, because other people have been scammed as well. But it would help them. It would help the police to be able to go after these people. And if you are lucky, they may be able to retrieve your money for you through the banking system.
And that was where I was coming to, because some people would think that, well, if my money cannot be retrieved, or I cannot get my money back, then what's the point? And then some people decide, well, they just call it something that is lost, and then just decide to forget about it. But I don't think that is something that they have to do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's important that we stop these people. These scams are ongoing because obviously they have been successful in very successful, I must say, in other cases. So they are making a lot of money doing these scams, and we need to report it. We need to stop it. If you are able to spot it, remember that somebody else might be a victim. Okay, out of every 100 that spot this scam, there are about at least five people who are not able to spot it, and they become victims to this kind of crime. So it's important to report anything that comes across.
But if assuming I'm with somebody, or maybe in the office or somewhere, and then I can see that is a scam, that the person is the person feeling that is the truth, and so feeling that that is being convinced to do something about it. Do you think that if I'm advising the person is not okay, can I call the HMRC or this what do you call it, the action fraud to help the person in that step?
Absolutely. I mean, HMRC, what we need to understand that they are vulnerable people for all sorts of reasons in our society, and they are the ones who fall victim most to some of these scams. So if you are a good neighbor, if I can call it that way, then you have to help out. You know, it might seem so obvious to you, some of these scams, but for some people, they're going through so many issues, so many things in their life. Sometimes their head is not even straight, and some of these things come along and they make all the wrong decisions. So definitely HMRC will be happy to speak to anybody who is willing to help another person deal with this scam situation. Okay,
so you see, if you are listening to us, you could be your neighbor's keeper. Okay, you could be your neighbor's keeper. If you see that the person is falling prey to that, please help out, and you can call the action fraud line. But Mr. Tabiri, before we round up everything, can you just sum it all up nicely, and then we can put your contact details across for listeners to know? He is the CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, and you have anything from A to Z when it comes to accounting, you have to just contact him, and I promise you will see the difference in there, from rates to what, name it. Okay, so over to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Yeah, so I think you've summed it up beautifully. We all need to be each other's keeper, and also to remember, HMRC will not contact you on social media, will not contact you on Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. No, HMRC still uses the main forms of communication is by letter. If they have to contact you by text or email, they would definitely would have contacted you by letters before. So you would not, out of the blue, receive text messages concerning refunds or rebates. So we should all just be aware of the situation. If you are in doubt, do not give any information. Cancel the call, and then call a reputable HMRC number that you know or you can find, and you know, get the facts as they are. Don't give any details. If you have any doubts, go to the original source and get that clarified. If you have any concerns or need any advice regarding these matters or any tax or accountancy issues, I'm happy to speak to you on 079-6124-8834, 079-6124-8834. Otherwise, you can also reach me on email at dan@gilaccountants.com. dan@gilaccountants.com.
Okay, listener, that is our own Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, coming your way today. And today we've looked at the various scams that is going around, and we don't want you to fall victim to it. So with the discussion that we had so far, please make sure you get in touch. If you see someone who is falling prey to that, please call the action fraud line, and then they will help out. But for all your accounting issues, as he said, contact him and he will help you on that front. Mr. Tabiri, let me say thank you very, very much for this wonderful time with you once again.
You're most welcome, and it's been a pleasure. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. All right then, listeners, this is where we bring in the program to a close, but that will be after this short commercial break, and then some lovely tune that I've lined up perfectly for you for the weekend. Yes, so don't you go anywhere. But let's take this commercial break. The NHS COVID vaccine campaign is ending today. Yes. So please take advantage. If you've not had your vaccine, the first one, or you've had the first one, and you need subsequent one, because with the gatherings and various things, people are out at the beaches, at the musical events and stuff like that. You look at people and you think, if you've not taken your vaccine, I bet you're going to be in big trouble. But you can do better. So just take on, and today you can just go and take your vaccine as well. Today is the last day. I don't know whether there's going to be any extension, but if there's any, we'll let you know. So let's take this commercial break and I'll be with you.
Hi, I'm Ada Williams and I'm an NHS pharmacist. Don't get caught out by COVID this summer. If you have only had one COVID-19 vaccination or haven't had one at all, you can still get your free vaccine until the 30th of June. Book your vaccine through the NHS app, online at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination, or call 119 for free.
iOrange is the brand new hydration drink developed with bold thirst-quenching orange flavor to refresh and replenish. iOrange was created to fill the void where great taste meets functionality. With bold, thirst-quenching orange flavor to help you refresh, replenish, and refuel.
Welcome back to the final segment. Okay, so I'm just bringing you some music, and then we'll bring the program to a close. But this weekend we're going to bring you lots of music, as we do all the time. More music, less talk, and Sunday there's going to be the live church broadcast for those of you who don't have churches to go to, or you are home and your only bet is to join an online service. Why not join us? The Bible Life Family Ministries will bring you a live church broadcast from there, and then in the evening from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock thereabout, we shall have KB Bossman bringing you the one and only Faith Talk once again, and it's going to be looking at a lot of things. You don't want to miss out on that, do you? Well, so it's been a pleasure coming your way once again, and let me say thank you very much to my bishop, additional Pastor Mo, and Mr. Olayomi Koike, my colleague, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Gayi, and the one and only Mr. Tabiri, CEO of JL Accountancy Services, our money man, who joined me today to bring you everything that you need to know. I hope that it's been fun. It's been fun because I've enjoyed myself. So I say, may Nigeria not happen to you, and have a lot of fun today and over the weekend. Enjoy this song. This is from Afriye, and it says, "Country Hot." Enjoy.
Hungry man say fix the country, belleful say fix yourself.